Well, SARA, S-A-R-A, stands for the State Authorization Reciprocity Agreement. It's an agreement between states that involves a better way to oversee post-secondary distance education that's delivered across state lines, those online courses and programs that most colleges and universities offer today. It's voluntary for states and it's voluntary for institutions. SARA is being implemented by the country's 4 higher education compacts: the Midwestern Higher Education Compact, the New England Board of Higher Education, the Southern Regional Education Board, and the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education. Their work is coordinated by the organization that I work for, the National Council for State Authorization Reciprocity Agreements, NC-SARA. So SARA is based on interstate reciprocity. That's the concept that keeps us from having to have a separate driver's license for every state in which we're going to drive. Our states have agreed to recognize one another's driver's licenses. That's reciprocity. Before SARA, there was no alternative for institutions offering their online courses across state lines than to contact every single one of those 54 states, territories, and districts and find out what they needed to do in order to come into compliance with those states' laws. That process is cumbersome, it's time-consuming, and it's quite expensive. With SARA, institutions can, in essence, get a driver's license to drive and offer their programs in every other SARA state without going through the normal process of applying for authorization. So within states that choose to join SARA, their institutions are given the opportunity to participate. And as of October 2015, we have 29 SARA states and just about 500 SARA institutions. Well, students benefit in several ways. As I mentioned earlier, the costs for institutions to secure authorization to offer their online courses in some states is quite high. Consequently, some institutions are choosing to not make their programs available in those states. So by reducing those costs, SARA is increasing access to online courses and programs. And by reducing compliance costs, it's also reducing that particular reason to raise tuition. Second, institutions that choose to participate in SARA voluntarily agree to abide by a quite high set of quality standards. So SARA, at the very least, is elevating the quality floor for online education. And finally, with SARA, if problems arise, students have a quite robust way to deal with complaints. For institutions, they can see a dramatic lowering of costs of compliance with other states' laws, and they can therefore access a broader market. And finally, states have assurance that other SARA states are working together to resolve any student complaints that arise and to uphold the quality of interstate offerings of distance education. Well, I'd say patience and flexibility. Every state comes at this work in its own way, at its own time, and at its own pace. And we've needed to accommodate that. It's important to let that play out, and I think that accounts for a good deal of the success we've had. It's important to let states go through the deliberative process that they need in order to feel comfortable joining SARA.